Welcome to our next section on faith and reason. What is faith? So we see lots of conceptions of the use of the word faith, ranging from blind faith, something you just believe, even if it goes against your reason. That's not what we mean when we talk about faith. What we mean when we talk about faith is a belief in something that we cannot prove, a belief in something that you can't sit there and demonstrate it to people. Like you might have an experience of the omnipresence of God in nature. You might be like St. Francis and come out with the conclusion that the sun is your brother and the moon is your sister. You might have one of these transcendent experiences that people have. You can't point to it and be like, look, see, there it is. Look at the sun. See, it comes from the same source that I come from. We're all part of something greater. It can't be demonstrated the way that you could say, oh, look at that car, right? That is a nice car, right? It's going to be demonstrated the same way you say, oh, look, see here, this root is growing into the foundation of your house, right? It's going to cause you some problems, right? Now, does that mean it's irrational? No. It doesn't mean it's irrational. We have reasons for our faith. So we can call faith a confidence or a belief in something that we cannot prove definitively. What's reason then? Well, reason is the basis for believing in something. Logic is a great word that we use to talk about reason. Common sense, right? Wisdom, right? These are all words that we use as synonyms for reason. But in our case, it's going to be the reason that we believe what we believe. And if we go back to our earlier readings and lectures, you're going to recall how Joseph Ratzinger described how this is really how we function, pretty much for most areas of everyday life. Right? We believe in something for a reason. Someone else tells us about it, other people believe it, and then it fits with our own experience. Not that we understand it fully, but it doesn't contradict the things that we do know about in life, the experiences that we have had. So there's our Ratzinger slide. Again, remember we were talking about cell phones at the time. We see that faith, again, is a big part of our lives. And reason is what supports it. Right? We're not talking about blind faith in everyday life. If someone handed me a cell phone and said there's a magical alien in here who translates the things that are said to another magical alien, and they speak through a psychic language that can go over thousands of miles. I would not believe that, because I have not seen that kind of thing. I have no reason to believe that. Right now, if they're telling me about microchips and satellites and stuff like that, that fits with what I understand. Right? I have often unintentionally dropped my cell phone and saw some of the chips in there, and it all fit with what I knew about technology and science in my life. Right? So think about how that works. And please don't promote ideas about cell phones actually being alien vessels. Okay, now when it comes to faith and the question of the existence of God, we find something quite interesting. So we already saw how Ratzinger thought that agnosticism was not practical in life, right? And then one had to try to take a stance. Well, the same thing, you see kind of a similar split between agnosticism and the belief in God, or theism and atheism, in that when you look at the role of faith. So when it comes to faith, the agnostic is the only one that's really not operating with faith. The agnostic is saying, well, I don't know if there's a God or not, so I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't have a conclusion, right? The theist, the person who believes there is a transcendent reality, an ultimate reality, a God, the theist is saying, well, I can't prove it, but I believe it for these reasons, right? And they have their personal experiences and the experiences of others where they trust, and they're going to combine them to the point where even though they can't prove that God exists, that they are going to believe that God exists, right? Atheists are doing the same thing. They can't prove that God doesn't exist. So what are they doing? They're gathering their perspective, their ideas, their thoughts, right? Everything, they got their own angle going on here, and that they're seeing evidence that God doesn't exist. They're listening to other people who are saying God doesn't exist. And they are matching it with things in their experience that would support that. Right? Now notice a lot of this is going to have to do with what we talked about in the last section, your culture, right? Your tradition, right? Someone who's raised in an atheist culture or atheist tradition, it's going to be a big jump to become a theist. Someone who's raised in a theistic tradition, it's going to be a bit of a jump for them to be an atheist. At least it's going to be significant, right? They're going to have to question their assumptions. And that's all I'm asking anyone to do, is question your assumptions. Ask, why do I believe what I believe? Is there a different way to understand it? And could I understand it better?